right, welcome back to the Knives Fast channel, and we're going to jump right into a quick review of the Civivi Nugz. There's the details, very, very cool, and what I'm calling this is a chance to own a high-end design for sub $60. Who doesn't like a deal? And that's exactly what you can expect on this Civivi. Now, we know a lot about Civivi, but guys, I don't know about you. Weir knives are known as more high-end designs. Most of his knives are very high-end, like the Lucas P, and shoot, I don't know. I can't remember all the names, but they're very high-end knives. But just like we had with Brian Brown and the X1 with Civivi, the Nugz is a Civivi version of one of his designs, and that is sweet. So what you have is micarta, green micarta, chamfered off really, really nicely. You have the C for Civivi here on the pivot, tooled over here, a titanium clip with quite a bit sticking out of the pocket, but it's so thin back here, to me, it's not a big deal. It's not reversible, and there is not a lanyard pin. You have a black micarta back spacer, and you have overlapping or shadow boxed liners here, steel liners, and like I showed before on this knife, we have some really nice weight reduction milling. There is our liner lock, and again, you guys know how I feel about the jimping on the lock bar, but we do have quite a bit sticking up to get to unlock the knife, and it moves pretty well. I would prefer to not have that jimping. I just don't like if I'm fidgeting with the knife, it starts to leave a lovely little pattern on your thumb and doesn't feel the greatest. We do have a very nice cutout for the sharpening choil. You can see your plunge comes close, but it's far enough out. And again, this is in 14C28N, but the only thing you see here on the blade is Weir knives. That's it. No other billboarding. So that is really great. And I do like the pocket clip very, very much as well. Now, we are dead centered, and we come way out to the back spacer there to the end. Good jimping up here on the spine, and our deployment is a flipper tab with jimping or a nice pill-shaped hole. Now, for me, the hole is first. You have a very nice detent. You can see comes out real well, and, nice shake gets you down. Now, the problem we do have on this one is we have quite a bit of lock stick. I have cleaned it with alcohol. You can see we're a little early there. So sometimes when I've seen lock stick, it's when it's locking up early and maybe the geometry is just not right on this particular model. Again, that is my assumption, not a absolute diagnosis of why it's got the lock stick. So please bear with me. But if you listen here, you hear that? Little bit of lock stick there. Let's lock it up again. One more time. Yep. Little bit of lock stick. Not terrible. I have tried to clean it. You can see our lock face is pretty dang clean, but you can definitely see where the lockup, let's see, we can get a focus here. There we go. You can see where the lockup is taking place and wearing. Maybe this would wear in after some time. I am not sure. You have a beautiful satin finish, by the way. And, you hear people talking a lot. They don't like doing knives, or they don't like knives, with two opening methods, because sometimes the detent is different. This detent is spot on for both. You can see just a little snatch gets you popped open, and a nice middle finger flick. Thumb, yep, works well as well. Now, what I called this video, guys, is a chance to own a high-end design for sub 60. But you also saw in my thumbnail that this thing is a utility slicer, and that's exactly what you have. You have this very nice low tip on what they're calling a reverse tanto. You could call it a Warncliffe, you could call it whatever you want. I don't really care. But what you have is a nice utility slicer, and guys, look at this. Come on. How can you not like a knife that cuts that nicely? This thing is pretty sweet. And again, the utility part of it, depending on what your job is, this would be a great work knife. It would also be really nice as a camp food prep knife. You have a very nice tall grind. Now, you don't have super thin stock. We'll talk about the specs here in just a minute. You don't have super thin stock, but because you have a taller grind, a taller blade, nice swedge up here as well, you can get a really, really nice cut. And with a little bit of belly, you can definitely do some rocker cuts. Now, bear in mind that flipper tab is going to get in the way of that. But again, I'm talking about slicing through stuff and that kind of action. Now, if we go straight to our friendly neighborhood comparisons, you got the Ontario Rat 2, which is a little bit smaller, and the Ontario Rat 1, which is a decent amount bigger, but not hugaciously bigger, if you will. Yeah, hugaciously is a word. All right, I'm going to move this just a little bit. Sorry about that, guys. Still working on this mount, and I think this view is way better, but I'm still working on the mount. Now, let's talk about specs. Now, you'll see me put up some B-roll while we talk about the specs. So these are $58.99 for the base model, which is the one we're looking at here. 7.44 inches overall, 3.17 on the blade length, 0.12 on the blade thickness, 14C28N in a reverse tanto with a flat grind, satin finish, plain edge, of course, no silly, oh, did I say that? Silly serrations. Yeah, I'll say it. Handle length 4.27. Again, very nice there for me. We'll talk more about that grip here in just a second. And it weighs 3.39 ounces. So a really cool, knife. Now, there are some other versions. There is a black G10 version, which is $56.95. There is a wood version, which is $60.95. And then there is a twill carbon fiber over black G10. So it's like a laminate. And then it has a Damascus blade, and that one is $80.75. So, some really cool options. So back here at the table, we have, again, a decent 4-finger grip. You can see there, got a little bit of room left. I'm right on that jimping. Nowhere to really choke up on this one for me. Again, you can get up here even past the jimping a little bit if you want to. Now, you do, because of the thinness of the handle, you do feel this part of the clip in your grip. It's not a hot spot at all, and you can kind of adjust around it, in my opinion, and it's not a big deal. My landing, I'm landing here more than I am on that jimping, if I'm being completely thorough here. I mean, that's where I'm landing. And again, you will come up against that flipper tab with your finger, but it doesn't feel bad to me. By the way, I forgot to talk about when we are locked up, we have no lock rock, no blade play, and again, just a really cool knife. So, guys, I would love to hear what you think of the Civivi Nugz. This will be going on to the next guy in the pass around group, and I hope that you enjoyed this one very much. So please let me know down below with a comment, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, check the channel out, and thank you for watching the Knives Fast channel.